Okay, I'm sitting outside and we just made our first um, DSRA video. Now this is going to be, like I said, in the circular reference section here of the of the, of the files, and I've added a few more circular reference issues. You can see I've got a lot to do, I suppose. Oh God. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just switch a little thing, and the only thing we're going to switch is, let's put a little gimmick here by the switch for the true or the false, and we're going to switch from pro rata to equity first. Okay, what's happening here? Okay, and of course you remember that if we do this, we'll format the control and go to another sheet and back to this sheet and click on this. Okay, and so this time we will do equity first, and this should have been not true. And do I still have, here's the problem, I was just in between messing around with the read PDF to Excel, and I did something wrong. Okay, and now we just change this. Now where I have debt funding, up here we have debt funding percent. And instead of this, we're going to put equity commitment. And let's put a equal sign and just go up to, we need all of this stuff, this summary sources and uses statement to do all our real equity analysis and our debt analysis with fees and everything else. And then we'll say, well, let's, I need a couple more lines, shift spacebar, shift control plus, less the opening balance. And then we get remaining equity to fund. Okay, or I don't know how to say that, opening balance, add the equity contributed in period, and closing balance. Okay, and this, when we subtract the opening balance, we need it from down here. So it's, I don't know, I should come up with a name of these things where you compute the remaining to fund, or the remaining availability, or the remaining DSCR. There are a lot of them, but this time we put a minimum. We take the minimum of either how much we still have to put in or the total. Okay, and then we make alternate equal on our closing balance. Shift control 1, shift control R. Okay, and everything's okay so far, still no circular reference. But now, as soon as we make the debt funding here, the difference, so we can put a little, I guess, let's put this, this is in the wrong place really. Did we need this? We'll put the true and false here. So if this is true, then we our debt funding is the total funding we need minus the equity funding, and I suspect we're going to get a circular reference. Okay. Oops. I first have to put here. Uh-oh. If it's true, then, and why did I put it? Okay. There we get a circular reference. Well, that's the one I was kind of looking for. Okay, and unfortunately, all of our fixing and everything else. Now, it's interesting. This it really comes from the IDC. If we delete the IDC, we'd get it. We'd not have it. because, let's just work through this a little bit slowly, because the RDC affects the amount of funding, it affects the amount of equity if we have the debt fixed. So that's where it comes from, okay? And it also, I think, let me just see, if we didn't have any, I think we'd have it even if we had no DSRA. So it's actually really just a, I say this is a DSRA issue, it's really an equity issue. Now, I'm tempted to go through our analysis, and if we went through our analysis, you can see, you know, our function method. We'd have to go and make all function from the IDC, and it'll be a pain. And I'm not going to do it because my friend Tom, he said, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to just do a classic one. So here's the real problem. If we put a fixed and then a computed and then a difference, this is the simple. I'm going to call this simple because it really is. And we'll just put some number here. The computed is just what we're going to redo. That was just our total minus our equity, debt, excuse me. And then the difference is this minus this. And we name the ranges, Shift Control F3. It says take them from the top row, so we take them from the top row, we make this equal fixed, we get rid of the circular reference, we have a difference, and then we can go and we can go, oh shit, I was messing around with this one, let's close this file, and now we can make, let's just make a blank macro, let's make it called circular. Okay, and let's stop the macro, and let's just, you can, I know people do it all their fancy stupid ways, but this we'll just make it, and we put while range difference not equal to 0, and then we better put a WEMD. And then we always say, we always compute the fixed range, fixed equal range computed. That's this magic. Oh, we have to take a week-long class or something to do that, don't we? Okay, and then we put in our little wonderful optimization thing. Click it on the circular, and I hope I didn't spell anything wrong, I probably did. Okay, and then it clunks around, and then, so if you want to do that, fine. Okay, I should be, I want to be looking at it. It's clunking around a little too much here. Ah, shit, just a minute, god damn it. Okay, after a whole bunch of swearing later, and everything else, I have to put it back. So if we change anything, let's change the interest rate to 4%. Let's change the debt tenor to 20 years. Let's change the debt to 1,700. Okay, the problem is then we have to redo our little macro. Okay, and remember our macro was so simple. I didn't have to do that, but okay, that's all it was. Okay, in fact, let's just, there's our much more interesting thing, just the contract structure. Did I, oh shit, just a minute. Okay, let's just put this macro here so we kind of remember what it is, okay? Of course, not anything secret. Why you'd put this as private, and why anybody would make this like it's such a goddamn big deal. Okay, all right, that's all we do. Now, what we want to put in here is the, let's make a data table. So let's say our data table is we change the debt from 1,500 and make it up by 50. How's that to, ooh, that's a little bit too high. Okay, so we want to do that. And when we do that, let's say that we, down here, we didn't compute our cash flows. And our equity, our dividend, you know, I'm doing it really quickly, but I think we have the, up here we had the operation minus the, debt service minus the change in the funding, okay? Which is a minus and a minus, and it eventually gets us a plus. So this is, oops, we had negative, okay. I have to do two things. It's minus just this thing during the operation period. And is that true that we can't afford this, where's okay, I did something wrong. Just a minute, let me compute our project IR. Okay, I put a construction switch in. I fixed my little error, and our project IRR up here, just really, this is a separate section here. You know, okay, that's before we have anything is 8%, so we'll have we'll have a very high equity IRR. And our dividends are this, and our equity funding is from above. Okay, so our equity funding is down here. And then we can put our net equity cash flows. And that's just the difference. And then once we put our net equity cash flows, we'll put our equity IRR, which is the XIRR tab, of course. Shift Control right arrow, and put it to the end. Shift Control right arrow, press enter, and then we can have this. So what we'd like to do is on this. Whoops! What did I just do? Oh shit! What did I just do? I don't know. I meant to press Shift Control P. And okay. Oh man. Okay. So we now want to make our data table, and we can put our equity IR over here. Now there are a couple of things about this data table that are far better than the regular Excel data table. Number one, it doesn't depend on the sheet, the inputs being in the same sheet. And number two, it doesn't put something up here which screws up all your graphs. So we'll just make this, it'll go from row 5 to, so I'm going to put over here a start row and an end row. And the start row is the row 5, end row is row and 13, and we're going to go and make a little for loop that goes for row equals 5 to 13. Every time we do this, we're going to go and change the debt. We're going to change the debt in this thing here, so we better put a range name. I'll just call it debt. Okay, and the problem is, this is why, of course, the data table won't work, is you'd have to then redo the function to compute the equity IRR. But luckily, we can do it very quickly. So all we do is make a little macro. We'll go to this one and name this one data table. And we'll do for row equal 5 to, what was I forgot, what was that, 13. And then somewhere we have to put next row. And to make the data table nice and very simple, first thing we do is we put range det equal cells, and then we put the row number, so it'll change the det to the first one, the second one, the third one, and that's going to be column number D, which is column number 4. Okay, and then the next time, what we do then is we just define this equity IRR as a range name, shift control F3. Okay, equity, this is called equity IRR with an underscore now, and then we just put in the range, I put equity IRR equals cell, other way around, cells, row comma 5 equal range IRR. That's all you do, and that gives you your data table, and you can of course make a button for it. And now we have to do one more thing. Okay, when we do this data table, we have to insert the function circular. So after we, in between the time, we do and you know what I'm going to do is put begin det equal range det. Okay, so we remember it, and when we're finished with it at the very end, we'll put, okay, that's not very hard, is it? And in between the time we do this, we just put CIRC, just like that. Nothing fancy, anything at all. So maybe we'll close this so you can just really see how it is. Of course, the indent is just a matter of style. It's nothing else. And now, can we fit? I'm not sure we can. Let's fit this here. So that's our step 1. You know, if we do it really simply. Okay. Now, if we okay, so let's just put this. Yeah. Okay, and make it. That's our step 1. Now we'll make a step 2, and instead of going from 5 to 13, we'll make these range names, and we'll make this a range name and that a range name, and so forth, but that's not a big deal. So remember, save it first so you don't start swearing like I just did. And it works through it. It's a little bit slow, okay? If you want to make it much faster, I'm not going to put it, I think I'm not going to put it in this video. I hope. What's going on? Uh-oh. Do we have a problem? Okay. Shit, I'm glad we saved it. Okay, I suppose I really should have been more careful. I don't know why. Usually this works, but perhaps we have to put an iteration button here. Fine, we'll start with 1. I'm gonna put it just if greater than 200 exits sub. Okay, we just okay. So let's try it again. I see it must have a maybe we're getting an equity IRR of more than 100% or something when we do it like this. We're getting a num in the equity IRR, so we couldn't compute it. We could have even called it false, but whatever. Well, now we have our shift control P, and we have our, oh no, I didn't, reopen generic macros. Where is that? Where are they? Where are they? Oh, okay. Did you see them? How could they not be there? Project toggle. Oh shit. Okay. Whatever. Okay. Here we go. It's going really slowly now. Let me pause it and find them. Well, I'll find them with you, okay? If you don't know where the generic macros are, you go to, if you've got my Google Drive, you go to chapter 1, you can see you don't get chapter 6. Only when you take my class, you go to generic macros. Elvis did this one, okay? And then we have that. So that's how we can make our data table, okay? And then if you want to make it a little bit better, you could put base column as the column number. Okay, and that's the column number for this one. And then we put the I'll put output column is the next one. And then okay, so then we would just adjust our data table and go to edit, and we would put for, let's see, can we put this over here? So we put start row, end row, base column. So range, always range, start row to range, end row, and then this is range, what did I call it? Base column. Okay, and this is range out call. Okay, so that's your, then you've just redone the data table with a circular reference. Of course, I did something wrong. Start row to end row. Start row, end row. Did I make this? Did I name these ranges? Perhaps. Shift Control F3. Okay. Let's press this, the F5 key or the run key. And we still have a fucking out column. Output column. Okay. Stupid. Okay. And press F5 and we run it. Okay. And I don't know, you could delete them at first and do all kinds of stuff. Okay. You could put down in the bottom with application.status bar, you could put what scenario you're on and everything else. Okay, so that's a one-way data table. If you want to see two ways or all other things, you can look on the disk, but maybe I'll even do it. Now let's, I'm going to stop the video. This is a long enough video, so this is going to be data tables and circular references with the goal seek. Okay.